Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed, live from Los Angeles. I'm Alex Curry here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys, and happy Friday. How are we doing today?
Here we go. Lakers by 30 tonight. I got Lakers by 30. I got Jamal Murray going 1 for 8 from 3. I got Jokic going 1 for 5 from 3. They turn back into pumpkins, and it is a cake walk. Here we go. Piece of cake for LeBron.
Hey guys, can y'all do me a favor? Can y'all tweet me Paul George and Kawhi stat line tonight? They'll probably be at Wally's. They might be at Wally's. Skip, you want to go by and check them out?
Yeah, I could also tell you what the Heat stat line was.
Now you Heat.
I'm a Heat fan now.
Hold on. What about when LeBron was there for 4 years?
They don't need LeBron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started with last night's game. The battle of the first-round picks. Baker Mayfield bounced back after passing for less than 200 yards in the Browns' Week 1 loss to the Ravens. The former #1 overall pick put up 219 yards and 2 touchdowns in last night's win over Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Baker did throw a late interception, but was able to lead the Browns on a fourth-quarter drive to seal the game behind their ground attack. So, Shannon, did Baker prove last night that he is not a bust?
No, he didn't. Skip, he needs a lot of things around him to play well. In college, he was the best player on the field. And if you look at it, Skip, he had C.D. Lamb. He had Hollywood Brown. He had, if I'm not mistaken, he had Joe Mixon for 1 year. Wasn't Mixon there for a year?
The first year he started, maybe.
Yeah, yep. I think so. Yep. So, Skip, we see what he had around him. But
he started for 3 years.
Yeah. Skip, what it showed me last night, and I think a lot of people have always believed this, our Browns offense should run through the running game. Let it go through Chubb. Let it go through Kareem Hunt. And you see what happens after that. And then you can play action, and you get Odell wide open for a touchdown. He was clean last night, Skip. No sacks, no hits, no takedowns. And they ran the ball for 215 yards on 35 carries. So if you're going to give me that kind of production out of the run game and the ability to play action off of that, Skip, yes, he can be successful. But watching him last night, I didn't see anything special. I didn't see anything that flashed. You know, you watch Kyler Murray and you watch Kyler Murray Sunday, you say, oh, man, Kyler Murray special.
Oh, so you've come around on Kyler Murray. Wait, you just called him special.
Yes.
You've been down on Kyler Murray.
I was down on Kyler. And it's okay. Guess what? It's okay. If I'm wrong on something, I'm not going to go out here and just, I didn't say it. No, I didn't say it. But we're not talking about Kyler Murray. We're talking about Baker Mayfield, who you believe was going to be special. And I have not seen it yet. Skip, it's early. It's only his 3rd year. But I don't see, Skip, I don't see that brashness. I don't see the whirling, and you know how he used to do in college. He run down the field, and he doing the helicopter all the way down the field. I don't see that. I see a guy that if things go really well, the running game, I can run the football, then I can play action off of it. Yes, I can have success. But he threw, as Alex mentioned, he threw a horrible interception, Skip. You can't make that play. There's nothing, if you run a play action and there's nothing to hold the backside safety, Skip, he's supposed to sink and take the crossing right away. So what did the guy do? He sunk, and Baker never saw him. I'm like, Baker, you know he was there. You know that's what you're taught. That's like, okay, that's not high school, but that's college football there. So, Skip, look, I thought he played well last night. But I'm not here to say, oh, yeah, Baker's turned the corner. No, I don't believe he's turned the corner. If you're going to run the football with Hunt, you're going to run the football with Nick Chubb like they ran it like that, I'll be there. They'll have success. But looking at the AFC North, they're the 3rd best team in the AFC North. You know that. I know that.
Okay. So, a quick undisputed history lesson featuring my partner, Shannon Sharpe. Let's see. I said before the Baker Mayfield draft, he should go #1. Somebody across the table said, what? You're kidding me. #1? I believe you like Sam Darnold.
I did.
Yes.
I did.
I said he should go 1, and he did go 1, and it was a bit of a shocker to everybody. First year, he doesn't get to play. We go through Hard Knocks, and Hugh Jackson is saying, Baker, congratulations, calls him in, says, you just won the backup job. And I was outraged and offended. So Tyrod Taylor starts the first few games, and then he gets hurt. And Baker gets his shot on that, wasn't it, a Thursday night against the Jets? And here he came, and there he goes. And he had a sensational close to his rookie year, and he went 7-7 against a pretty difficult schedule. And guess who came around? My partner came around.
Yes.
And last year, early on, especially after Baker Mayfield went to Baltimore and won 40-25 and threw for 340 yards, he looked pretty special that day. My partner was saying, shake and bake. You started driving my bandwagon.
Actually,
you tried to co-opt it.
Actually, Skip, I picked them to win the division before.
Okay, and obviously they had added a bunch of big pieces.
Yeah.
Okay, so then this year, you know, obviously he fell off the cliff at the end of the year last year. So now you're down on him, and you're sort of edging toward he's a bust. Yesterday you were still like pretty shaky.
No, I'm not saying he's a bust, Skip. But this notion, because he's the first pick, he's going to turn out to be John Elway. Okay, he's the first pick in the draft. He's going to turn out to be one of these franchise-altering quarterbacks. Do I see that at this very moment? I do not.
I don't know if I'm going to go to franchise-altering, but he is a franchise quarterback.
Well, no, Skip, to do the first pick in the draft.
Okay, I got it. Well, he will live up to being the first pick in the draft. And I told you yesterday, I'm not giving up. I don't see anything wrong yet. Okay. I think he's going to be just fine. And I thought Baker Mayfield came out last night with the old chip back on his shoulder. And he said basically to the Shannon Sharpes and maybe to the Colin Cowards of the world, watch this. And Kevin Stefanski, his new coach, and I'm going to remind everybody, he's now he's barely into his third season. He's had 4 head coaches.
Why is that?
4 head coaches.
Why is that?
Yeah. And he's had 3 new play callers, 3 offensive coordinators. How hard is that on a still very young quarterback? Help me out. Not that easy, right?
That's what happens, Skip.
Continuity.
Skip, when you don't play well, you get those guys fired.
Okay, but he did play well as a rookie, and it's still all hell broke loose. And then Freddie K, as you call him, Freddie Kitchens, got elevated, which was a terrible move. And it was a bad franchise getting worse. That's what happened.
Right.
Sometimes you get stuck when you're the #1 overall. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong franchise.
Yes.
They had the #1 pick for a reason because they were the worst team in the NFL. So the point is that last night you got to see Baker back to being Baker. He took the game over for the first few minutes of the game because I saw a different game. I got to get a new TV. The Hall of Famer tells me that it was run, run, run. And I saw a different game. Maybe I got to get new LASIK surgery. I don't know. Here's what I saw to open the game. Let's see, the first 2 plays of the game run by the Browns. Obviously, Joe Burrow had the ball first, but when they got the ball, the first 2 plays were what? Chubb? No, Baker. They want throw. 3 of the first 4 plays of this football game were Baker Mayfield passes. Okay. Wow. And he was operating, and Kevin Stefanski finally pulled his head out of his behind and said, you know, he's pretty athletic. He likes to throw on the run. Let's get him outside the pocket, which he did a whole lot at the University of Oklahoma when I watched every snap he took for his 3 years there. He likes to move and groove. He likes to get in rhythm. He likes to create momentum with his legs as well as his arm. I'm not saying he's a pure running quarterback. He's no Cam Newton, but he can run some, and he can obviously escape to throw.
Okay.
And he enjoys throwing it on the run where he can create splashy sort of plays that excite the whole offense. And that's what happened early in that game. He threw some exciting rollout passes to his right and to his left. He throws it really well going to his left.
So how did he get out there?
Okay. What do you mean, how did he get out there?
How did he get out there? Play fake.
Well,
play action.
Okay, but he's rolling out. Some of, I don't think a couple of them were rollouts.
That's how Odell got that touchdown.
I think they were just pure bootleg action where he just rolled out. But the point is, they actually last night threw it to run it. They threw it to run it. And again, the play of the game, the throw of the game came to who's that number 13? I forgot about him. I forget his name. That guy for, he's got that kind of blondish hair. You know that guy?
I could have swore they faked that ball right there.
So he's rolling to his left, a harder throw, rolling to his left, and zing! He throws a rifle shot and hits number 13. Oh, Odell Beckham, I remember his name now. Right. Hit him right on the numbers. Is that not a good throw?
That's a great throw.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
And that basically ignited Cleveland and sparked what happened thereafter.
Yeah, really? I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly.
Yep.
You got on pom-poms because Baker beat the Bengals?
Yeah. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. The Bengals are better than you think they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
How many games? Over, under 6 games.
Okay, the Bengals, first week, rookie quarterback thrown into the fire for the worst team in the National Football League. What happened against the Chargers?
A loss.
Chargers have a pretty good defense, I would have to say. Pretty good. They lost Derwin James, but they're still pretty good. They got a lot of players on that defense. And would you believe that Joe Burrow led 13-6 going to the fourth quarter? Would you believe he drove his team at the end of the game over the last 3 minutes? He drove them 79 yards in 14 plays against that defense.
Yes.
And threw a touchdown pass to A.J. Green that would have won the game, and A.J. got called for offensive pass interference.
Right.
So they wound up with a chip shot field goal, and that Randy Bullock, he gags wide right.
He pulled his groin in his hamstring.
He pulled his groin. Yeah, that's what he said. But again, that's to tie and go to overtime. Right. Joe Burrow can play.
Yeah, he looked good.
He looked good. He's got poise. He's got sort of a weird charisma about him because he enjoys competing. Right. He has sneaky velocity and he has sneaky mobility because he can run a little bit.
Yeah, he has above average athleticism skill.
He does.
I don't know if you want him necessarily throwing the ball 61 times.
Okay.
That's asking a bit much.
I don't really get that because you brought up Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he is.
He's a top 10 running back.
Yeah.
And why you didn't feature him a little bit more,
I agree.
I don't know. But he didn't get enough carries, and all of a sudden they are just pass happy.
Yeah, I think they fell behind, Skip.
Okay.
They could have kept the game close because remember they had the goal line, and then they had an opportunity to get the ball in. Boyd dropped the touchdown.
Yep.
That could have kept them close. And so now you fall behind and you feel you need to throw to stay in the ball game or try to get back into the ball game.
Yep. So what was the mistake of the game for Joe Burrow? Obviously, he's facing 3rd and 9 at his 12, and he tries to do too much and hold the ball a little, like one count too long.
Right.
And Myles Garrett gets him.
Yep.
Strip, sack.
Yep.
Browns recover at the 1-yard line, and it's a gimme touchdown that felt like it had broken the game open at 28-13.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Then if we can go back a play, that was 6:02 left in the second quarter. If we go back, there was one other big mistake made by the visiting team. And it is a rivalry. It's an Ohio rivalry of Cincinnati versus Cleveland. But it was 3rd and 6 at the Cincinnati 42. And Joe Burrow's trying to call timeout. And they snap the ball. And it's a 22-yard loss, which forces them, obviously, to punt. And that led to Baker to Odell to break the game open. So the point is, those two mistakes, if you eliminate those two, you got a ball game. Right. So I think I have some respect for Cincinnati. I'm not saying they're going to compete to win the division.
We've got a really low bar that when Baker beat Cincinnati on a Thursday night football game, a rookie, a very young team, a head coach in his first season of head coaching, and that's the bar that we're measuring Baker by now. But your Baker was a #1 draft pick, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to throw, and I want you to say, who is Baker's career going to resemble? Elway, Luck, Cam, Peyton, Bradshaw, Aikman. Those are just right off the top of my head. Which of those guys will Baker Mayfield? Because that is it. When you're the #1 overall pick, you're supposed to be a generational talent. You're supposed to be franchise altering. You said he's not going to be that. I just need to know why when you touted him to go #1.
What happens is you have to do your #1s in a vacuum. You have to say, will he be better than the other quarterbacks picked in his draft? Help me out. Will he be? Are you still stuck on your guy, Sam Darnold?
Well, I will be stuck on Sam Darnold if they get that. Skip, I don't like to call for people to get fired. But Adam Gase, Skip, at some point in time, the kid has regressed. You watch it, I watch it, everybody's watching. He's regressed. He hasn't gotten better. He's gotten worse.
Okay. So, obviously, Lamar goes in that draft, but he doesn't go until the end of the first round, right? Was he the...
He's the 32nd pick. I remember Ozzie traded back to get him. That was Ozzie's last draft pick.
The last pick in the first round.
Correct.
So, if you put him in the top mix, he obviously is now going to go 1.
Right.
He will be better than Baker. Baker is a franchise quarterback. He's good. He's better than the other guys. He's obviously better.
What about Josh Allen?
Josh Allen? I think Baker's going to be better. That's just me. Okay. He's a better operator. He's got more charisma. He's got more leadership skill. And I respect Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is good enough to win his division this year.
Right.
But Baker Mayfield has pizzazz. He's got some it factor. And when he's playing with the chip on his shoulder, leadership skills. And as he said after the game, I heard some new humility from Baker Mayfield. I did, because he's been humble, because this league will chew you up and spit you out.
But did you see those 15 commercials that he had last?
It started up again, and I told you, I don't love it. I don't love anything about it. And again, they're good commercials. I got no issue with the, it's progressive, and Hulu has live sports. I got all that. But it's not good because you just keep creating the target bigger and bigger on your back.
Skip, let me ask you a question. I mean, look at this. Okay, Baker had a 98 QBR last night.
Yeah, and by the way, that's a QBR I got an issue with.
Okay. I was just, because
I don't get it, because to your point, he did throw one early fourth quarter interception, and I don't understand what happened on, maybe whoever's analyzing, going through it, because if you look, it was disturbing, but yet William Jackson III is actually the corner on that side. It's not a safety drop.
Correct.
So it's
That
not
is correct.
some just cut and dried cover 2 drop. Somehow he is dropped all the way, and Baker is trying to get the ball to the rookie tight end Harrison Bryant, who won the Mackey Award out of Florida Atlantic. Remember, he was kind of unsung, ran 4.7, went in the 4th round, but a lot of people liked him a lot because he's an athlete.
He is.
And so Baker is trying to get him the ball on a deep post. Or is it cross or post?
Yeah. What they're doing is they're trying to cross the safety's face.
Okay. And I don't know if did the corner completely fool him? It's a backside corner.
But Skip, here's the thing: when you run the play fake to the corner, and the action that side, he doesn't see a receiver go down the field. So his job is to just get depth,
and
take the crossing route to take that away.
You want to talk about depth? He got depth all the way back to the goal line.
Yes, but there's nothing to hold him, Skip. So if there was something to hold him, he wouldn't have got that kind of depth. But since there's nothing to hold him, he just keeps sinking,
And I remind everybody that in 2016, that kid was the 24th overall pick out of Houston. So he's a first-round pick. So he's a good player that you don't know much about.
Correct.
But he just snatched it out of nowhere, and it was disturbing. And so I don't get, usually when you throw one interception, you're going to drop below 90.
And considering, Skip, Lamar Jackson missed 5 throws. Had 3 touchdowns, and he had some good runs. Russ missed 4 throws, had 4 touchdowns. Mahomes, we know what he did. Aaron Rodgers and Baker Mayfield, QBR was higher than all of those. That's what confuses me about QBR, because if you watch that game last night, Skip, nobody thinks Baker Mayfield outplayed Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, or Lamar Jackson in their games on Sunday. Nobody my homeboy played on Thursday, but nobody thinks Baker played better than those guys, Skip.
No, I would agree. You got me on that one.
Okay.
But I still like how Baker handled himself during and after the game.
Right.
He had quotes about, I have lots of weapons. My job is to get the ball in their hands.
Right.
And for once, he got enough balls in Odell's hands.
Right.
Odell was happy after the game.
Right.
Winning will sort of deodorize the locker room, right?
Yes.
But the point is that Baker didn't back off when, if we could see what happened right after the game on NFL Network, our man Michael Irvin gave him the platform, do you want to fire back at your critics who said you're no good or you're a bust? And this was his response.
A lot of people counted you out after week 1, and they were ready to get rid of everything, man. Do you want this opportunity to get back at them right now and just tell them, slow down, you still here?
No, I don't need to chirp back, but there's one thing in the Mayfield household is we don't forget, so it's duly noted.
Okay, that's the guy who played at Oklahoma.
Right.
That was the two-time walk-on at Texas Tech and at Oklahoma who won the Heisman Trophy and lifted his team into the playoffs.
Well, Skip, I would have been very disappointed if he'd have took that opportunity to fire back, considering that he didn't take that opportunity to say anything after game one. So why after another game you would take that opportunity? Let it play out, Skip. Look,
okay, but at least he didn't say you're all crazy and wrong. He just said in the Mayfield household, we don't forget.
But Skip, you must admit, we have more bad tape on Baker than good tape.
So far.
And that's all I'm saying, Skip.
And all I'm saying is you better not write him off.
No.
Because if he gets the right mindset with chip on shoulder, he can play.
Skip, the thing is about those guys, there are 1,600 players. Probably 1,400 of them got chips on his shoulder. 1,400 of them people say, you're not going to be anything. You're not going to be that guy. Yeah, you're good in high school, but wait till you get to college. And the guys in college are going to be a lot better than you. And the guys and people in college say, wait till you get to the NFL, because all those guys are good up there. So everybody has a chip. Everybody has been counted out at some point in time. Even Peyton Manning, because they say, oh, Peyton, you're done. The doctor gave him a 10% chance of ever playing against Skip, and when Elway thrown him, he couldn't throw the ball basically from me to you.
But the Indy doctors gave him no chance.
Zero chance.
Yes.
Zero.
Okay.
So,
and by the way, the guy I'm talking to right now was a seventh-round draft
192.
So you went to a training camp. I don't know how many free agents they had in there. But
well, that was the first year, Skip, they had to limit it. In 1990 was the first year you could only bring 80 guys to camp.
Okay.
But there were a lot of...
I went to a lot of cowboy camps where there were like 100 free agents.
Yeah, you could bring it. And the camps back then, Skip, were 6 weeks.
Yep.
8 weeks.
Okay.
Guys use that to get into shape. Now you have to come into shape. And so, Skip, at the end of the day, everybody believes they're counted out. Look, they gave me the jersey number 1. They didn't give me no good number because they were just going to take that number and throw it back in there and give it to somebody else the following year.
Number 1?
They gave me number 1, Skip.
Why?
Because all the 80s...
Everything was gone?
All the 80s were gone. Because, you know, we had 3 tight ends in camp. They already had 80. They had the Amigos, who had Michael Young. They had all the 80s. And 2 other receivers.
Yeah,
that were there that were veteran players had number 8, had 80 numbers. So for me, Skip, hey, just give me a number and some pads. Tell me where to go. I'll do the rest.
Did you tell him you might want to play quarterback?
Nah. Skip, I was just happy to have a number. But I had always had single-digit numbers. So I thought it was cool.
All right.
I was like, well, you know, hey, I might be number 1. Nah.
Well, you think you're number 1.
You know, I was like, I'm number 1. I was like, I might be pretty cool here.
So, final thought. Joe Burrow is going to be a star, and he will be better than your man Tua.
Oh, Tua coming.
No.
Oh, Tua coming.
Joe Burrow is showing you what he's made of.
Well, you're going to see Tua shortly.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so.
Oh, I don't hope so.
If he's that good.
Oh, he that good.
Why wouldn't you just play him?
He that good.
Yeah.
He that good. Did Brady play right away? Marino didn't start out the box. Montana didn't start out the box. Elway didn't start out the box. How'd they turn out?
Peyton started out of the box. How'd he turn out?
But you know what? Peyton Manning was the worst thing that ever happened because everybody think they got Peyton Manning and just going to turn the key. Hey, son, you know how to drive here. Throw him a set of keys and let him go. Skip, everybody can't be Peyton.
Joe Burrow looks pretty good to me.
Oh, he does. He looks good.
He is handling the expectation.
Yes, yes.
And that was an entertaining game last night, and that's all you can ask for. And I got to say, I'm happy for Baker Mayfield. Big fan, Skip, I agree with you. Much respect for his response in that post-game interview. It was fun because he's
that could have been somebody else I know.
Up.
Somebody else I know ain't humble. Would have took a chance. Would have took his opportunity to respond.
No mercy.
The Miami Heat did it again for the second straight game against the Celtics. They came back from double digits and now lead the series 2-0. Jimmy Butler said the Heat enjoyed coming back from double digits and being the comeback kids. So, Shannon, are the Heat becoming a threat to the Lakers if both teams make it to the finals?
Well, the Heat are a very good team, Skip. They play hard. They make timely shots. They don't beat themselves. And I think that's the thing that Boston is doing is that they're beating themselves. 20 turnovers. You can't turn the ball over 20 times, Skip. You look at the offensive rebound and you say, well, Miami only out-rebounded 11-6, but then you go to the second half, it was 8-2. Well, that's where you're losing the game. Skip, you're up 5, and then all of a sudden you get careless with the ball, Jimmy Butler steals it. You're taking the ball inbound, you're going to probably try to get a great look. You throw it, Jimmy Butler tips it back. He gets a dunk on the other end. You can't turn the ball over against this team. And I thought the Celtics got really careless last night. They started celebrating at the half. Oh, yeah, we got this one. Yeah, I knew they wasn't that tough. Miami is a scrappy, tough, hard-nosed ball club. And, Skip, if you look at down the stretch, look at every shot that needed to be made. They made it. Dragic had a guy that had tight in his face, and he drained the 27.
At the clock.
Yes. I mean, that little lefty, they can't stop him. He's getting to the bucket, off the glass. You see Olynyk, he throws up a rainbow as time goes off the clock, and he banks it in. Sometimes, Skip, you just look to the coach. Coach, what do you want me to do? You see the man throw a 30-footer off the glass with time running out. The Heat's nothing to be played with. They took down the team that had the best record in all of basketball, and they took them down in 5 games. And they made the guy that's probably going to win the MVP look very mundane, very average, very ordinary. They have the ability to do that. That zone caused Milwaukee problem. But, Skip, if you look at the Celtics, they had 3 guys. They had 3 guys with 21 or more points. I don't really know. They shot 50% from the 4. They shot 35% from the 3. But where they're losing the ball game is turnovers. You can't give a team that plays as hard as Miami, that shoots the 3 as well as Miami, you cannot give them extra cracks at you. Because if you do, they're going to beat you. I don't believe the Lakers, at this juncture, you're at the Final Four. You know all 4 teams are damn good. And you know if you don't play your best, you're going to get beat because, Skip, you've taken the element of home court really out of it. You're basically in an empty gym with family and friends watching you play. That's what this is. And so can Miami beat the Lakers? Yes. But I would sure love to see that matchup. I'm just hoping the Lakers take care of their end of the agreement, the Heat take care of their end of the agreement, and we'll see what happens at the end of the day.
Sounds like you're front-running to me.
There you go, front-running. No. The front-running Kings are home.
The Miami Heat are now 10-1 in the playoffs. That's like Kobe Shaq dominant Lakers.
Yes.
That's like dynastic role. 10-1?
Yep.
How are they doing this? They are now sneakily the Fox bet second choice to the Lakers in win-it-all odds. The Lakers are prohibitive favorites at 4-9. Outrageous prohibitive. But sitting there at 7-2, second choice, the sneaky Heat. They just keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
I have become a Heat fan, but I saw them coming a little sooner than you did. They demolished what I thought was a pretty good Indiana team. Pretty good. They were playing at a pretty high level as they came into the bubble. And
well, especially once they got in the bubble. Remember T.J. Warren?
He just went crazy.
He did.
And all of a sudden, he disappeared against this team. Because this team, it will defend you. I didn't see much zone actually against Milwaukee, but last night in the second half, they went to it, and they went to it full force, and it took Boston completely out of what it did. So when that game ended last night, I thought of one of my favorite 60s rock and roll songs by a group called Buffalo Springfield. Probably not your...
no, I don't know if I know.
Buffalo Springfield is actually a protest song back in the days when white cops were brutalizing and killing white kids who were hippies. Okay? And the first 2 lines of the song are, something's happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear.
I didn't know who sung the song, but I've heard of it.
The song's called For What It's Worth, which is a ridiculous title because it was a toss-off song that became a huge hit.
It did.
Something's happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. That's what I think of this team. I can't quite figure out how it's happening, but they are a blast and a joy to watch because they play basketball.
They do.
They do it right. They play both ends as hard as you can play it with no ego. They have lots of cogs, and Jimmy Butler can score 14 points last night and be totally content because he made several plays down the stretch that won the game.
And that's what should be concerning to the Boston Celtics. You had a 17-point lead. Their best player only had 14 points, and you still couldn't hold on.
Correct. So if I look at the final box, and I didn't know the final score, I would think Boston won fairly easily because I'm looking at, you pointed out, they shot 50%. They shot 10 more free throws. They had 3 more rebounds. There is that one little category over to the far right, 20-9 turnovers. Okay, so that's the difference in the game. But Now let's look at one of the weirdest games I've ever watched. How do you explain this? Because all of a sudden, for the first time in the playoffs, the Miami Heat look flat and dead in the water in the second quarter.
They
get
very ordinary.
blown off the floor.
Yep.
It's 29-19.
Yep.
And then they turn it right around, playing zone in the third quarter, and they blow the Celtics off the floor 37-17.
Correct.
That's impossible.
Yep.
The Celtics are too good.
Yes.
I remind everybody, the Celtics have been favored in each of the first 3 games.
Right.
Game 3 is about to be played. But they were 3-point favorite in game 1, 2.5 last night, and they're 3 again for game 3.
Right.
So the odds makers are saying, wait, Boston's a little bit better. A little bit better? No. They're down 2-0.
Right.
So then what happens? 37-17 happens in the third quarter, but then in the middle of the fourth quarter, wait a second, the Heat give up a 15-2 run to Boston. So they have the game in hand, they're up 8, and all of a sudden they're down by 5 because they can't stop the Celtics. And Kemba hits a 3 to put them up 5. And I'm thinking, wait a second, how can that be? And so then what happens in the end? Then they go on a 17-7 run to close the game. So the game is just wildly swinging like this.
A game of runs.
Like huge runs, ridiculous runs, because the run that got them back in the game was actually 32-10. They went on a run against a really good Boston team.
Skip, if you look at in the third quarter, Bam had 4 points in the first half. He has 15 in the third quarter, and they make 5 threes. That's basically it. That's it. They make 5 threes, and bam.
Okay, but bam, they give up a 15-2 run, and they're down 5 with 4:15 left. And I'm thinking, you're dead again.
Yeah.
You're done.
I mean, because Skip, Bam is getting and-ones. Yeah. I mean, he's dunking and-one. He's laying it up off the glass and-one. And it's like they're gonna have to find a way to do something with Bam.
Yep.
I mean,
he's a player, man.
He
is. He's a basketball player.
He does it. He does it all. He's really, they say Jimmy, but it's really Bam, because Bam does it all. Bam rebounds, he blocks shots, he picks and set great picks, he rolls to the back, pick and roll. So Bam does some of everything. Now Jimmy, they follow Jimmy's lead. Jimmy is the guy that says, okay, calls the huddle, he's the quarterback. Okay, stop the bull jive. Let's go play basketball.
Their mental stability comes from him because he's a made man.
Yes.
Not that he's won championships, but he's been in big games.
Right.
And he's seen as a force, like a leader who takes nothing off nobody. So they look to him like, you know how to do this, right?
Yes.
Yep, we got this.
And they'll see him, he's willing to take the challenge. And Skip, everybody doesn't want that challenge. Jason Tatum had it going, and Jimmy's like, okay, I'll take it. He gave him some buckets, but he's fighting him tooth and nail.
He fought him.
And Skip, like I said, I'm looking at Boston. I'm looking at Skip. They had what? 4 guys scoring double figures. The top 3 guys get 23, 21, 21. They don't shoot bad from the field. One is 8 of 14, 6 of 12. Kimball was 9 of 19. But when you get that kind of production from your big 3, and Jimmy Butler only has 14, and you still lose. Skip, that's demoralizing.
Which is why Marcus Smart in the post-game locker room threw a fit. He said he was screaming at everybody. It sounded like maybe a chair got thrown.
So y'all know that bull jive.
Yeah, he walked out the door mad and went down to the restroom. And I get it, because that's what this team will do to your psyche. You're like, how did we lose that game?
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at those 2 steals. They're 2 late steals by Jimmy Butler that swung this game. And the first one was with 3:44 left. And check this play out. Watch what a play this is in 2 different ways. He goes out of bounds behind the back and saves it, and comes back in and dunks it. Yeah. Now that's a play. That's one that you talk about demoralized.
Remember, Skip, Boston's up 3 now with the ball.
God, this cuts it to 1. Yeah, they're up 3 with the ball with 3:44 to go. Whew. And then here we go again. Oh, that's that one. Then he's got another steal with 128. Yeah, inbounds from Marcus Smart, believe it or not. And he knocks the ball away, and he retrieves the ball, and he gets it right to Jay Crowder, makes the textbook pass. Boom. And that puts them up 7. That ended it basically right there, it felt like. Whew. Okay, those are winning plays.
Yes.
That's the the guy who's going to do things that don't count in the 14 points that you say, oh, that's how they won the game. Right.
Because we know what he's capable of because we've seen him go get 40 against the Bucs. We saw that. And was it against the Bucs or maybe it was against Indiana? But we've seen him have a 40-point playoff game, which is a career high. And then we see him do all the other things.
He seems to just watch the game.
Right.
Sort of he processes.
Right.
Do I need to score or do I need to defend or do I need to steal the ball? And he does what is necessary.
Right.
Goran Dragic is playing out of his mind. It's the best I've ever seen him play, and I've been watching him for a long time. But if we could see the shot that you talked about, it's just a killer. It's a psychological killer.
You got him dead and right, like, oh, yeah.
You're at the clock. They're going to run the clock out here, and he's stuck, and Tice is on him. He got the switch. I'm stuck. The clock's going to run out. It's just a heart crusher. Whew. Wow. Goran.
Skip, he loses the ball, almost loses the ball, and then boom. What you do with that?
Ooh. I first noticed him against my Spurs in a playoff series in which Phoenix swept my Spurs in 2010, I believe it was. And in Game 3, which is the do-or-die game, he comes out of nowhere. I didn't even know who he was, playing for the Phoenix Suns, and scores 26, making 5 of 5 threes.
Skip, he's
capable.
He reminds you, he can shoot. I believe he shoots the ball better than the guy that played for the Spurs, Manu. But that left hand, the craftiness, the ability to get to the rim.
Yeah, he's not as tall as Manu, but obviously he's 34 years old now, and he's playing like he's 24.
He is.
And he is the spark plug of the team.
So, I mean, a simple question was, so if they were to, let's just say everything plays out and they get to the finals, the Lakers get to the finals, you taking the Heat?
If I were LeBron James, I would be uneasier playing the Heat than the Nuggets. The Heat would scare me more than the Nuggets. The Nuggets wouldn't scare me at all. But the Heat are becoming a threat to LeBron James. Becoming. Let's see how this plays out. If they just keep on keeping on, whew, it's not going to be that easy.
You can have fear, Skip. I mean, people, this notion about fear. Fear is not absence of it, it's mastery of it.
Really?
My guy has mastered fear.
Your guy is 3 and 6.
My guy's in the Final Four. My guy's in the Final Four. The cyborg that feels no emotion, that shows nothing, is going home 3-1.
It's interesting you say that because he's lost so much that he's numb to fear anymore because what's left to fear when you've lost six finals?
I know my guy ain't never lost being up 3-1. There have been some great players that have lost up 3-1. My guy ain't won. My guy doesn't know what it's like to lose in the first round. There are a lot of greats that's lost in the first round. My guy doesn't know what that feels like.
Your guy knows what it's like to get swept in an NBA Finals.
Say that again now. He got swept where?
Yeah, in the NBA Finals.
Okay.
Your guy got blown off the floor by a record finals margin in 5 games by my Spurs in 2014.
Was he up 3-1?
So I guess you don't fear because you've lost so much. So you've been humiliated so much. What's it matter anymore?
Let me ask you a question. Now, you said the Nuggets, that was too good. Did the Nuggets shoot the ball from the 3 better than the Spurs shot it in those 5 games? No, they did not. That was the record at the time.
But you know what? I think they did shoot it better.
No, Skip, that was the record.
Okay, but that's the finals record.
Yeah, right? What I'm saying.
I'd like to compare those numbers.
Please do.
I mean, the Nuggets shot like 55% for 7 games.
Skip, Danny Green couldn't miss from 3. As a matter of fact, nobody could miss from 3.
That was more 2013.
No, first of all.
The guy who couldn't miss was Patty Mills.
Nobody could miss from the 3 in 2014, Skip. Yep. But we're not worried about that. We're not worried about the Heat. See, I know another team that was worried about another team that didn't worry about the team that they were facing. Yeah. And now guess where they are? They right back out here.
Are they?
Yeah, they're right back out here. Yeah. And one guy is complaining about the IQ. Now, he never mentioned IQ when they was up 3-1. He never mentioned anything about IQ. Now, all of a sudden, he got guys that don't know how to play basketball. They don't know where to be. A coach that don't know how to coach.
Yep. They were so bad, the Clippers, that in the closeout games, they were up 16, 19, and 12.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
3 closeout games, and you can't hold those?
With the best player. What was the IQ then?
Boy, they could have used Jimmy Butler.
Nah, they could have. No. You got Kawhi. You got the Claw, the guy that should be in the conversation for a GOAT. because he got championship with 2 different teams. Y'all keep talking about LeBron, but y'all better mention Kawhi. Really?
You know,
up 3-1?
Kawhi went after Jimmy Butler. Remember that? It was KD Kyrie first, and then it was Jimmy Butler, and then he had to settle for George Paul.
That's what he get. That's
right?
what he get.
Settle.
That's what he get.
Yeah.
That's what he get.
What if Jimmy Butler had said, "Yeah, I'll do that, Kawhi"? You'd be in some trouble.
No, I would be in nothing. Kawhi, Skip, I just want to. That feels so good. I told you this. I prepared you for this. Throw that jersey in the trash. Don't you ever wear that Clipper jersey out here again.
I think I will throw it in the trash.
Well, a report that just came out, guys, is that Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart had to be separated post-game in the locker room. So it's going to be interesting to see how Game 3 is going to play out here. Right? All right, well, let's move on to the NFL because Skip's Cowboys are looking for their first win of the season as they host the Falcons this weekend. Now, Atlanta is coming off a loss, and they will put the Dallas secondary to the test after passing for 450 yards last week, while Dallas will look to capitalize on scoring in the red zone after scoring on just 2 of 4 trips last week. Shannon, who wins and what's the score?
Skip, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. The Cowboys' offense, I like what I saw. I just think the thing is they should feature Zeke a little bit more, play action off of that, and let Amari and Gallup and CD start feasting once Zeke gets it going. I watched the Falcons game last week, and yeah, they can get pressure with Grady Jarrett. Yeah, they can get pressure with Takk McKinley, but their back end, Skip, isn't good. Their back end is worse than the Cowboys. And that's why Russ was 31 of 34 for like 350 and 4 touchdowns. Yep. I expect very similar numbers from Dak Prescott. Maybe not 350, but I think he'll be approaching the 300 while also Zeke rushing for 100 yards. I got a high-scoring game, Skip. I got 31-27 Cowboys. And I expect Alden Smith to get better and better and better and better. That's the question. Can the Falcons' offensive line hold up against that pressure? That's what's going to be interesting. That's what I want to see. Now, Skip, you know the Falcons, they got firepower on offense. They got 3 guys that went over 100 yards. They had Russell Gage, Julio, and Calvin Ridley.
All 3.
So it's going to be very interesting. I think I read something where they inserted Trayvon Diggs into the starting lineup. He's not a starter. It couldn't have come at a better time dealing with Julio. Now, that's a grown man now.
Well, but I told you, Trevon, in that Rams game was a revelation.
This is Alabama on Alabama. Yep. You know, roll coverage to Julio. Look, I understand Trayvon Diggs and you like him, but ain't nobody dealing with Julio one-on-one. Okay. Roll the coverage to Julio and then try to everybody else. But
you can answer this question. How much does it help to have a big brother who's a star in the National Football League?
It helps. It helps.
Because you feel like when you step on the field, I belong. My brother is here.
It helped a lot, Skip. For me, is because my brother, you know, I was a wide receiver, he was a wide receiver, so we're talking technique, we're talking, okay, if the DB does this is what he's trying to do. Now, I'm not so sure. Obviously, you know, he's like, I was a little brother. Well, he did it. I want to do everything he did, and I felt I could. So I'm sure Trayvon's like, oh, man, Stephon, I'm better than Stephon. He in the NFL. I can be in the NFL.
Yep.
So it definitely helps with confidence.
Okay, my turn. I hate to jump to a week 2 conclusion here, but this feels do or die for my team. As far as my expectations for them.
Okay.
Because if you fall to 0-2, it's just hard to keep climbing out of that hole. It's not impossible, but I would much prefer if they could gain a little bit of early season momentum. Because remember, they went 8-8 last year.
Yes.
And now they're 0-1. So in the backs of their minds, the recesses of their minds, they're starting to think, we that good? Or
yeah, NFL playoffs don't like 0-2 teams.
No,
you start 0-2.
They just don't. So I'm talking about expectations.
Yes.
Where I say, win the division, at least win 1 playoff game.
Correct.
And you better win this one.
Yes.
It's a home game. You're one stadium around the league that is saying, come on, come all. Not everybody, but they are going to have 20,000 fans. Okay, it's 80,000 seats, so you'll spread them out.
Spread out, yeah.
Little social distancing. Probably not much.
Right. No.
Masks?
If you want to.
Maybe.
Optional.
Optional. It'll probably be 50-50 at best. Loud? Yeah, because when you're in a big old 80,000 seat stadium, arena, the reverberation of 20,000 voices is pretty strong.
Right.
So I'm going to say they're going to have as much home field advantage as anybody who's playing, because we're going to talk about some other games where there's going to be nobody there. Seattle, Tampa, there's another game, I forget, but the 0, okay?
Right.
20,000 fans. So, okay, advantage, home team.
Correct.
Right? Now, to your point, Matt Ryan put up some gaudy numbers.
He did.
He threw for 450, 450 yards. And to your point, Julio had 9 for 157. That's hard to overcome.
Yeah.
But Russ did it.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, he goes 31-35 for...
It was 2 turnovers that ended up hurting the Falcons.
It did. And Russell didn't throw for huge yards. It was
322.
322. Not great. But, hey... The Falcons had 506 total yards. Yikes. My defense is in some trouble right now because the Wolf Hunter, Leighton Vander Esch, is hurt again. He's gone with a broken collarbone. Sean Lee, a guy I used to love.
Hurt again.
Both of them, you put them in that brittle category. He's hurt again. So you're down 2 quality linebackers. And then you start looking at the offense, and somebody named Terrence Steele is still starting at right tackle, undrafted rookie out of Texas Tech. That's hard, man.
You better slide the protection.
Hey, you better slide,
Ty,
right?
you by yourself this week.
Because Lyle Collins, obviously, on IR for 4 weeks. Connor Williams, I've never been a fan. He graded poorly by Pro Football Focus last week.
He don't get either. He had Aaron Donald last week, got Grady Jarrett this week.
And Zach Martin, who I have nothing but great respect for, Pro Football Focus says, and it's hard for me to grade offensive linemen, but they gave him a poor grade. They said he had one of his worst
He doesn't move as well as he once did, Skip. Them knees, man, you start having surgery on your knees and your back.
Okay. So it's not going to be that easy. I'm going even higher scoring than you. My offense is going to have to explode on them, and they're capable. I got 38-35 home team, 38-35, and I'm going big numbers here. I'm going to say, to your point, you've been campaigning for this, I'm going to say they managed to get 30 carries to Zeke, 30 times for 150. That would work for me, and a couple of touchdowns. I'm going to say Tony Pollard might get close to 10 carries. So they're going to be a little more run heavy. But again, I got Dak throwing like 38 times. I got him throwing for 330.
Well, y'all going to dominate the game, Skip.
Well, I just said 38 points because the other team's going to be scoring too. They're going to get there.
Well, you're going to have to, hold on. So you got Zeke with 30 carries. Skip, that's a lot of time of possession. Another 10 for Pollard. That's 40 rush attempts. We're going to throw in Dak's 3 to 5.
But 75 plays is usually kind of what the winner gets, right in that ballpark. So I got 78 plays. And I got CeeDee Lamb, and you're going to say I'm overhyping, putting too many expectations on his rookie head. But I got him 8 for 150 and out Julioing Julio.
Wow.
So it's going to have to be that kind of offensive explosion to offset Matt Ryan. He will have his way and his day.
So you saying the Cowboys are going to have over 500 yards of total offense?
They have to. Well, to get to 38, And I'm not counting on any turnovers because we almost never get any turnovers. So it's not going to be a turnover game.
But you got to play the guy that turns the ball over, that's prone to turn it over.
Yeah, but when do we create? When do we snatch? When do we... again, you said that the one play Awuzie caught, it was on a bogus play because he got slapped in the... Jared Goff took a hand to the face.
Well, you're gonna need Alden Smith to basically be the NFC Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, the week. And he's capable of that, Skip. Like I said, he's only going to get better. You got to realize that's his first action in almost 5 years, and he flashed. He looked like the best player on the defensive side of the football for the Cowboys. He looked like one of the 2 best players. Now, Aaron Donald was unbelievable also. But he looked like, Skip, you could understand why the 49ers took him as high as he did. He was in that draft with Von Miller. He was in the draft with Von Miller and J.J. Watt. All those were in that draft together. Arguably, it's going to go down as the greatest draft in NFL history.
And lest you forget, the Atlanta Falcons now have a homegrown product named Todd Gurley. He is in the ATL.
Yes.
And he was fairly quiet. He had 14 carries for 56 yards. He loves playing against Dallas.
Right.
He has tormented Dallas and Dallas. He's tormented them in that playoff game that was played out here.
Well, he definitely helps Skip because you get close around there. It's like he got GPS or something because he can find the end zone. He gets the ball in just last week, and that's one thing that he was known for. Get the ball inside the 5. Somehow Gurley finds a way to get the ball into the end zone. But they're going to have to be better because Skip, they couldn't stop Russ. I mean, who goes for it on 4th down? And instead of trying to get 4 or 5 yards, they throw the home run over the top of your head.
Yep.
You can't allow that to happen. I don't trust the Falcons secondary is a problem. And Dak should take advantage of that, but not at the point where you forget Zeke, because Zeke needs to eat.
No, I think they'll be balanced. High scoring, balanced. If you like excitement, if you like offense, if you like lots of touchdowns, watch this game on Fox.
Don't lose this game, Skip.
Yeah. Well, I just said I'm going do or die as far as big picture.
0-2?
Yeah. I know. I got it. I think they can win this one.
You better hope so.
Yeah, but it better be a Dak Zeke game.
Okay.
Well, I agree with you, Skip. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I am going to pick the Cowboys this week.
No mercy.
A well-rested LeBron will finally take the court again tonight after not playing since Saturday. The Lakers had to wait for the Nuggets to complete their 3-1 series comeback against the Clippers, and now both teams will fight for their right to advance to the finals. LeBron said the respect level for what the Nuggets did to get this far is, quote, out of this world. So, Shannon, how quickly will the Lakers dispose of the Nuggets?
Not quickly at all. The Nuggets are a good team. Let's not act like this. They're not a good team. Don't act like this. If the Lakers were to beat this team, that they got a free pass because they just beat the team that everybody said was going to win the title. At the beginning of the season, when they put this team together, they're the deepest team. They're the most mentally toughest team. They have the best coach of all the teams that could possibly win the title. That was bestowed upon the Clippers. And this team dispatched them being down 3-1. So give them their due. Give them their credit.
So you're saying the Nuggets are better than the Clippers?
The Nuggets are better than the Clippers. Winning 4 games tells me if it had been 1 game and they beat the Clippers, I was like, nah, they got lucky on that one. When you beat someone 4 times, you are better. It's as simple as that. And to have them down, Skip, by 19, by 16, by 12, by 15, and you still can't close them out, yes, they were the better team. The Lakers will not make the mistake of underestimating the Nuggets. They know what the Nuggets represent. Yes, I think that the record is 3-1 against the Nuggets, but they were all tough. And the seedings game, Skip, the Nuggets didn't play their guys down the stretch, and they couldn't miss. And so this scares me more than the Clippers would have because I never had to worry about the Clippers big. Yoke can dominate a game. He can literally take the game over. And the pick and roll, the Lakers are going to have to be a lot better in pick and roll defense. They're going to have to be a lot better in dribble handoff defense. And they got guys that can break you down off the dribble. And that's one area that the Lakers struggle. Guards that can handle the ball and can get to the rim. That's a problem for them. And Gary Harris can do it. We know what Jamal Murray can do. And then they got the big 7-footer out there. The thing that I like about the Lakers is that they can make Yoke work. Because when they put Anthony Davis at the 5, although Jokic can score, okay, now you got to deal with 28 and 12, where he never had to worry about that. Rudy Gobert is not an offensive threat. Yes, he can block shots. Yes, he can get some rebounds. They'll run the pick and roll, and he'll roll to the basket and dunk it. But he's not the offensive threat that AD is. Zubac is not nearly the offensive threat. So basically, Yoke was coasting on defense. He can devote a lot of his energy, not all of it, but a lot of his energy to the offensive end. He won't have that luxury in this game. The Lakers will go back to their conventional lineup. They'll probably start JaVale in this situation. But the one thing that we have that the Clippers did not have, we got that guy. We got that dude. We got the guy. Not the guy that sat next to the guy. Not the guy that's all of a sudden tried to snatch. You see, Skip, he snatched that rug out from under us. And now look at him. Now he want the rug. Now he talking about IQ. Lakers in 6.
6? I thought you were going to make a case for Lakers in overtime in 7.
Lakers in 6.
6? So Denver is actually going to win 2 games?
Denver's going to win 2 games.
Really? Interesting. So my take on your take is that I think you were trying to hype up the Nuggets to justify the fact that you're saying LeBron's path for a championship is very difficult down in the bubble.
Now, before they went to the bubble, I heard all the coaches that were going down there and a lot of the other coaches, this is the most mentally toughest challenge that whomever win the title will ever have to face. Now, the Lakers, no, there are no Clippers. Oh, man, it's a cakewalk. It's a cakewalk. No. If it's a cakewalk, why don't y'all eat cake? The Clippers don't like cake.
Because all we cared about was beating you. We were built to beat you, and we would have beaten you if we had gotten to you. We would have beaten you if we had gotten to you. Simple as that. Period. End of story. We basically beat that team again and again and again because we beat them up good in game. Do you remember game one? It was over in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, we let y'all do that. Get y'all hopes up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're the Nuggets?
Nugs.
Okay.
Oh, yoke.
Yeah. It was a 23-point blowout, but it was over like that.
Yes.
And you could argue, got you right where we want you because you really think you're just going to cakewalk through us, right? Except in the closeout games, 5, 6, and 7, it's Clippers leading by 16, Clippers leading by 19, Clippers leading by 12. What does that tell you? What does it tell? Here's a better number for you. What does this tell you? The odds makers had my Clippers favored over the Nuggets almost in every game by the first 6 games was 8.5 points.
Yeah.
The final game, game 7, dropped to 7.5 points, okay? Would you believe that your team is only a 7-point favorite tonight? So the odds makers, Las Vegas is saying the Clippers are actually better than the Lakers because they were more heavily favored against the Nuggets.
Well, I hope a lot of people bet the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Because if they did, Vegas is in a heap of trouble. But see, what they did for you game one.
What does that tell you, though? So they're saying you're not as strong as the Clippers were.
No.
Yes.
What it tells me is that they're giving the Nuggets more credit. See, the Nuggets rope-a-dope, y'all. They pulled out Ali and the Rumble in the Jungle. They laid on the ropes, let y'all get out to that big old lead. They just rope-a-dope it on y'all. 23-point. And Skip Bayless came in, it's over. See? And they got you. And the next thing you know, Jamal Murray, whispered in Kawhi's ear.
Yeah.
That's all you got? That's it.
That's all you got. That was all they had. So let me remind everybody out there what a cakewalk this is going to be.
Don't do that!
Because it was a cakewalk during the regular season. They played 4 times, these two teams did.
Oh, my goodness.
The Lakers did go 3-1. Your man, Jokic, the Joker, was more of a joke against the Lakers.
Don't do that, Skip.
He averaged 16 points and 6 rebounds against your Lakers. You like that? I don't like that. Jamal Murray, he of the 3. He can just shoot the lights out, shoot your eyes out, shoot your heart out in big playoff games. Against the Lakers in 4 games, regular season this year, he went 3 of 19 from 3. You like that?
Will we go 3 of 19, is it?
3 of 19. He will be 1 for 8 tonight in a blowout for the Lakers in game 1. Let's look, shall we, at what Joker and Jamal Murray have been doing in their 8 playoff wins. They've won 8 playoff games. Would you believe that the Joker at 7 feet made 53% of his threes in those 8 wins? 53.
Yeah.
He just stands out there. He shoots the highest arcing 3 I've ever seen in all my years watching basketball. He shoots it into the rafters. It's like it becomes a UFO up there. You don't even know where it is. Or
he's already 7 foot tall and he's shooting it 20 feet up in the air.
And sometimes I think he arcs it even higher just to toy with your psyche, you know, like to show you. I think I'll shoot this one so high it'll make you even sicker when it swishes, right? So he made 53% of his threes, but guess what? Jamal Murray in those 8 playoff wins for the Nuggets so far, he made 54%. These are outrageous numbers from the 3-point line. They're hard to overcome. And obviously, they were shooting the lights out in the 4th quarters of games 5, 6, and 7 against the Clippers. And remember, 5 and 6, they made 7 of 9 threes in each of those 4th quarters, which you're going to lose. And does that have something to do with half-hearted defense by the Clippers? You better believe it does. They were not getting hands and faces.
They can't move, Skip. They can't move.
Arthritic knees.
Skip, The thing was, we thought this notion, if you look at their best lineup, they go Lou Williams, they go Trez, they go Paul George, they go Kawhi, and maybe they go Pat Bev or they go Mars. But Skip, really? I've been telling you, Kawhi is not that guy on defense anymore. He can't sit in that chair.
I would agree. He focused all on offense because the offense was Kawhi Leonard. They flipped it.
He wanted that.
He often dribbled the ball up the floor, and he often took a pass on the wing, and it was like the other four said, you do it.
But no, Skip, you love that about Kawhi, that he didn't want to play with LeBron. He wanted to beat LeBron. So the offense ran through him. LeBron could have made it so easy for him. AD could have made it so easy for him, but he didn't want that. He chose Paul George.
You would have a case if the Denver Nuggets had steamrolled the Clippers and just completely bamboozled and bum-rushed them right out of the playoffs where they just didn't have an answer and they kept losing by 15 or 20. That never happened. It took them coming back from 16 down, 19
Which
down.
Which is more impressive.
Down. Well, it's more impressive, but it also tells you how strong the Clippers were. The Clippers were in commanding position to end this in 5 games.
The Clippers, if I'm not mistaken, was like minus 1,000, minus 1,200. That's how overwhelming of a favorite they were.
Yep. Okay.
And they took them down.
My question is, who is going to guard your man LeBron James? I guess Jeremy Grant, because he guarded Kawhi a lot. He did okay. He sort of fought with him, hung in there. He's, what's his name? Harvey Grant's son.
That's Harvey's son.
Not Horace.
Horace is his uncle.
Yeah. But he knows how to, he's got legacy, you know, league legacy. Yeah. So he'll go out and compete. But Kawhi's about 6'7". He probably weighs about 20 pounds fewer than LeBron. Yeah. LeBron's the ultimate freight train. He should just be freight training.
Don't worry. No. We don't want any of your basketball expertise. Tell us what we should do.
I say LeBron goes tonight for 30, 12, and 13.
All I know is LeBron has been averaging 27, 10, and 9 in the playoffs.
I got
55%.
Triple-double tonight. I got Lakers by 30 tonight. I got Lakers in 5. I have enough respect that because the Nuggets did beat my team and just crushed their souls, I will give them 1 game. 1 game.
Skip, you know nobody believes you. Nobody believes
Everybody
you. No, they don't. No, they don't. Because they already know what you're hoping deep down inside.
I don't know. The Heat might be another story, but not the Nuggets.
No. The Nuggets are good. The Nuggets are a good team. That guy right there,
Joker becomes Joke tonight. You can take the R off the back of his name.
Yeah, we're gonna make it work. I mean, he got to guard AD.
Eliminate the R. No more R.
He's gonna have to guard AD.
Joke.
He's gonna have to guard AD.
I got it. You're right.
So we're not gonna let him. We're not gonna let him rest on defense.
2 games. There's no way they're gonna win
2
games. Sorry.
No.
Nice try.
Shannon, I'm going to have to go skip here. I'm taking Lakers in 5.
Yep.
Nuggets are good.
That cinches
They're
it.
coming off a big comeback, so they might take this first one. They're going to get 1 game, but Lake Show all the way, Lakers in 5.
No mercy.
Cam Newton has his first road challenge as the Patriots travel to Seattle to take on Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. According to Fox Bet, the Patriots are a 4-point underdog. So, Shannon, what shot do you give Cam to pull off the upset?
I give it very little. Skip, remember, it was very tough for me to choose between the Saints and Seattle representing the NFC in the Super Bowl because that's how much respect I have for this team. That's how much respect I have for Russell Wilson. He's spectacular. I mean, I don't really know what to say, and I think we're going to talk about it a little later. Coach Belichick says Russ is underrated. And I don't think he gets the credit, and I think a lot of that has to do with where he plays, but that's neither here nor there right now. Skip, when you look at Seattle, they can run the football, they can throw it. Metcalf, Lockett, Olsen, tight end they got from Carolina, still have some tread on the tires. The key for Seattle will be protection. Skip, I didn't know this until I started, Steve and I started looking into it. Russell got sacked 3 times, but he took 9 hits. Only Carson Wentz took more hits, 14, than Russell took opening week.
Didn't Cam take a few?
Not like I'm talking about hits. With Cam running the ball. I'm talking about from the pocket throwing the ball.
Okay.
So that's concerning. The question is, can the Patriots generate pass rush and can get the rush? Because if they don't, it's going to be a long evening. And the thing is, I saw some highlights where they had a DB imitating Russ, Skip. He's running around there. He start toward the line of scrimmage, and he backpedal, and he'll do a pirouette, and he throw the ball down the field. Because Russ is capable of doing things just like that, what Coach Belichick had those guys practicing against. Jamal Adams he's been great. They play him in the box. Yeah, they play a certain type of way, but they've taken advantage. You saw I think he had 12 tackles on Sunday. Big hits. He's blowing things up. He's a difference maker. And so I think Seattle wins by at least 10. Seattle's special. Seattle's going to be really, really good. If Seattle's on your schedule, you better play your best ball game, because if you don't, they're coming in. There used to be, Skip, teams from the West, the far, they come back east, that 3 hour, you play in the 1 o'clock window. Oh, you chalk that up as a win. Not anymore with Seattle. Doesn't matter. If they're on your schedule, you better be on your best behavior, or they're coming to your building and they're getting a win.
So, as I always tell you, I like to guess the point spreads before I reveal the point spreads. I really swung and missed on this point spread. I'm in your camp. I think Seattle should win by at least 10 points. I thought it would be a 7-point spread.
I did too.
It's only 4. So the odds makers are giving Cam and Belichick way more respect than you're giving them right now.
I think a lot of that has to do with, Skip, no fans. So you don't really get the full effect of the 12th man.
There's no 12th man. In fact, it's so bad, the game has been in some danger of not being played because of the air quality with the fires.
Because the Mariners moved their game.
They moved their game
to San Diego.
And I think because the forecast is a little better tomorrow, I think they think they're going to get to play this game. But it's going to be quiet in there, right? Yeah. Nobody's going to be in there except the football players and a few personnel.
And, Skip, that might be, not to cut you off, Skip, but that might be why we don't see the big point spreads that we're used to seeing, or that we would see, is because they're not fans. They're factoring that in. There's really no home field now.
Cam is still fresh enough, having not played much football for a year and being out pretty much the whole offseason, obviously, before he got signed, about a month before the season started, that as though he took some punishment, he took some shots last week, he carried it 15 times for 75 yards. I think they will try to do that again. They're going to feed their beast, who is Cam. He's going to be their Marshawn Lynch in this game. And I wouldn't be surprised if he carried it 18 times. I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps the passing even lower than it was. He was 15 of 19 for 155.
But that's the wing tee.
Okay, but they're going to try to dominate the ball. They got Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead. They will just pound away and try to keep the ball out of Russell's hands.
Correct.
That's the only way they're going to steal this game. But I do give them some shot, because it's going to come down to Cam, who I think he is highly capable of dominating a game. It's going to become Cam versus Jamal Adams. Like, that's what there are going to be some real confrontations where he's going to be playing way up in the box.
Well, Skip, they got the best middle linebacker in football, Bobby Wagner.
No, he is really good.
So, and they got KJ Wright.
Yeah.
So they pride themselves on being able to get the football. Bobby Wagner attacks the football. He's great in pass coverage. He can play downhill. I mean, I don't know if they Cam can. Skip, I don't know. 30 carries in his first 2 weeks of the season. How did he hold up with that?
Would you believe Cam threw only 4 balls last week that traveled more than 10 yards? Only 4 times did he throw passes that traveled more than 10.
Well, I think think
about that.
Yeah, but Skip, you're making a conscious effort to get the ball out of his hands, and I'm not so sure they got guys that can get down the field much faster than that before. And how good is the offensive line? Remember, the thing is that Cam can do that Brady couldn't, is that he can avoid some pressure. But that offensive line didn't get substantially better once Brady left. They just got a guy that's more athletic and more mobile that can possibly get out of harm's way. But I still think that line is average to below average.
So the irony of what you're telling me is Russ is special. Russ is like 1A to Mahomes, right?
There you go.
Well, like 1A, but I'm saying you still love Mahomes.
No, I want my homeboy, but I take Russell second.
Okay, well, I'm saying he's like almost 1A.
Yeah, he up there,
You're hyping him up, and he deserves it.
Yes.
Yet you've told me for how many years, since 2014, you say that Pete Carroll still made the all-time Super Bowl blunder on that final play.
Hold on.
Don't you want the ball in the special guy's hands?
Hold on, Skip.
right?
Russell is a different quarterback in 2019, 2020 than he was in 2014. You know that
he was pretty good.
Skip, that was still a Marshawn Lynch, Legion of Boom team. You know that, I know that.
But in that Super Bowl, he was cooking, man. Let Russ cook. He was cooking all over.
What was Beast Mode doing? Beast Mode ran for $1. Didn't he go for $120?
Yeah, so just to remind everybody, it was 2nd and goal from the 1.
Yes.
26 seconds left. And Pete Carroll and Darrell Bevell, the coordinator and play caller, opted to put the ball in Russ's hands to throw it to Ricardo Lockett at the goal line, a play that they love because he's he's like 6'2", 220-ish maybe. Throw it to him, and everybody said, what a mistake, because it should have been beast mode. And I said, well, timeout. Beast mode was handed the ball during that regular season of 2014 5 times from the 1-yard line. He scored 1 touchdown in 5 attempts. So 4 times he got stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Well, you don't think they know the analytics? You don't think they are aware?
And in a situation like that, I'm throwing the analytics out the window. Skip is 2nd down. So if he doesn't get it on 2nd down, guess what I got? I got 3rd down, and plus I still got a timeout in my back pocket.
I think they were already seeing what you'd been saying now. Russell Wilson is special.
Skip,
he's the playmaker.
Skip, that would be like saying Lamar Jackson is the same quarterback in 2018 as he was in 2019. We know Lamar Jackson is a better thrower of the football last year than he was his first year. We know Russell Wilson is a better player. He's a better thrower of the football in 2019, 2020 than he was in 2014. Everybody knows that. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a better thrower of the football now than he was in those first couple of Super Bowls. You know that. I know that. It's okay.
Russell Wilson threw a pinpoint, on-point
interception.
Pass. No, he threw it right where it was supposed to be thrown.
It wasn't supposed to be thrown.
Malcolm Butler made the greatest break on a football I have ever seen, especially under any pressure circumstance.
Yes.
It was all-time great. When I watched the tape of it, I still can't believe he caught the ball.
He made an unbelievable play. But on 2nd down, Skip, with a timeout in my back pocket,
how did he get that?
I'm gonna give the ball to Beast Mode one more try. Because guess what, Skip? At the worst case scenario, I don't get it. I got 3rd and 4th down, and I still got a mobile quarterback.
You realize Malcolm Butler was like a split second from pass interference because he just bowls over Ricardo Lockett. He just blasts him. Right?
Yeah,
isn't it real close?
Well, I don't know if they're going to call that, Skip, because he's making a play on the ball.
Well, he was, but if he'd gotten there a split second sooner.
He liked to got there too early. he liked to ran past the ball.
Well, he made himself primary receiver, right?
I mean, look at this. I mean, that's a heck of a play, but.
Is that not the single most shocking play in the history of the Super Bowl? Am I forgetting one? I can't think of one.
No, that's
because it goes from Seattle's 1 to Brady's over there doing his silly dance, right?
I mean, and you know, you remember, Skip, you remember Benz, he threw that last second pass to Santonio Holmes.
Yeah, but this
is it here.
Whew. Wow.
And then why would I want beast mode on a pass route? He running the flat route to the backside. Why?
All I would have done, if I want the ball in Russ's hands, I'm going to roll him out.
Well,
I'm going to go run pass option.
Kind of like what they did, Clemson did with Deshaun Watson on the last play of the game.
Hunter
they put him
Renfro.
right. They put him on the move.
They did.
What put him on the move?
Okay, I'm there.
Well,
Tom wins again. Tom terrific.
He ain't winning this one.
Yep. That was his 4th ring, right?
He ain't winning that ball.
Not 6. 6 and 3, the opposite of LeBron James, 3 and 6.
Everybody know but the GOAT.
Yep.
Everybody know GOAT James.
3 and 6.
After this, with 4 and 6, with 4 Finals MVPs, with 4 chips.
You got it. Unless Jimmy Butler has something to say.
GOAT man.
Yep.
No mercy.
Tom Brady will look to get his first win as a Buccaneer on Sunday as they take on the Panthers on Fox. Brady threw 2 interceptions in their opening week loss and was publicly criticized by head coach Bruce Arians. When asked about his head coach's comments, Brady had this to say.
He's a coach, so I'm a player. Just trying to win a game. I think it's a long process of, trying to improve in a lot of different areas. And, I think about, being the best I could be and the process I got to go through in order to make that happen.
Shannon, what do you expect from Brady on Sunday?
I expected what Bruce Arians said publicly bothered him. You see that body language, Skip Bayless?
Yeah. He did not like it.
No. You've been around it enough. I played enough. When they say he's the coach, I'm just a player.
There was no key.
No.
Oh, come on. There was no, oh, come on. You guys are making something out of nothing.
I'm just trying to win again. No.
Right. Okay.
We get it. Skip, look, I believe he should play well. If you look at Derek Carr, what Derek Carr of the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, did against Carolina, he was 22 of 30, 239, a touchdown, 30 dropbacks, 0 hits. I mean, if Tom doesn't play well against that team, Skip, I still believe Carolina's in a rebuild. You know, you lost the heart and soul of your defense, Kuechly. Cam is gone, so there's a lot of...
There's a little man who plays running back for them who you love.
I love C-Mac, but he can only do so much. And you know, they got Teddy Bridgewater, but I just think that Tampa, this is the week that they try to get it on track. This is the week that BA says, okay, Tom. Because, Skip, you're going to have to start to like, hold on, wait a minute now. All right, Tom, I mean, Carolina isn't very good. They're in a rebuild. Yep. New quarterback, new head coach, a new system, and we expect more. So I expect Tom to play better. I expect them to be better. At home, I don't. You said they're not going to have any fans.
No, 0.
Okay, 0 fans.
Yeah.
So, but I expect Tom to play better than what he played against New Orleans. And if he does not play well, Skip, I think a flag needs to go up and says, okay, is Tom Brady going to be the Tom Brady at least a third of, half, 3/4 of what we saw last year, or is this the beginning of the end? I expect him to play better, and if he doesn't, Skip, it's gonna raise my eyebrow a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to say about my Buccaneers what I said about my Cowboys. This is do or die. As far as, are you going to be that team or not that team?
Right.
Because you cannot fall to 0-2 if you're going to be that team. You can't fall to 0-2 and have realistic hopes of outgunning New Orleans for the division title.
Right.
You can't be a serious Super Bowl contender in the NFC if you fall to 0-2 because history will scream back at you, no, no, no.
Right.
It's a big deal because you have Carolina at home, but I don't think it'll be an easy game for them to win because
it's a division game.
I'm going to point out that they got some rivalry there, but Chris Godwin seemed to be his preferred target in week 1. He's been in concussion protocol all week, has not practiced. You tell me, is he going to play? I'm going to go doubtful.
Did he get hurt in the game?
Yes. And then he had symptoms on Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those. Came back from the Tuesday off day with symptoms.
Right.
You tell me. I don't know. Shaky?
50-50, right.
50-50. Mike Evans was limited in practice. His hamstring is still bothering him. Will he go? I think he'll go, but I'm not sure.
And you know what's concerning, Skip, is because they don't have a history together. Mike Evans probably is not practicing. He's just playing.
Okay.
So Tom is not getting an opportunity to get those repetitions with him to get on the same page. So it's like second nature to him.
So he didn't exactly, Tom Brady, get airtight protection at New Orleans. They were all over him all game. And the biggest breakdowns came from his blindside left tackle, Donovan Smith. And I remind you, it's like what happened with the Clippers in the bubble.
Right.
He did not want to play football.
Right.
He was opting out. And at the last second, they talked him into opting back in.
Right.
Is his heart in it? Well, it didn't look like it was in it in game 1 because he got annihilated.
Well, he got the worst treatment. He got worse treatment from BA than Tom Brady.
He did.
Because BA basically said he went against their worst pass rusher, and he played the worst.
He said that. So he has been limited in practice with a knee issue. I don't know how bad it is. So this is getting shakier by the moment here because it's no gimme against Carolina because they do have some weapons on offense for sure.
Right.
And the defense is definitely rebuilding. I will give you that. But so is Tampa psychologically. They're just trying to figure it out on the fly with no preseason, no real OTA.
But like you said, though, Tampa defense, like, hold on. Are we going to face another offense that has this kind of weaponry other than Kansas City? I mean, especially in the NFC, who has that kind of firepower? I don't think Seattle's on. Is Seattle? Do they play Seattle?
Who?
Tampa.
Tampa, I can't.
If they don't play, so you got to look at like, okay, you know, we just went up against New Orleans and what they represent, a team that's played together for a number of years. Are we going to see anybody else that's played together as long that have that kind of arsenal on the offensive side of the football? Probably not. So they're looking to rebounds like, okay, let us get back on the right track. Because they were attacking Drew Brees, Skip. I mean, hey, they got after him. Did a good job in the run game. They put some pressure on him. So it's going to be real interesting to see how Teddy can stand up under the pressure. Because Todd Bowles will bring game. If anybody that's watched him coach, he brings pressure.
He does. Teddy was pretty good last week. 22 of 34 for 269. Not bad.
Right.
Ran it a few times. Pretty good. 3 for 38 or something like that. So anyway, the point is that I was a little surprised. They're a 7.5-point favorite. That's the second biggest spread to my homeboy at Chargers, which is -8. So it's -7.5. Right. I'm not sure Tampa can cover this, but Tampa better win this
You
game.
don't think Tampa can cover 7.5?
I don't.
Well, you don't believe in Brady then? Brady.
I just think there's a little internal dissension. I don't like what BA did. I don't like it. I don't think Tom Brady liked
I remember the time Skip Bayless told me Tom Brady was worth 10 points just getting off the bus.
Well, they got to start somewhere, and they need to start with a dub here. I don't care how they get it by 1 or 2 or 3 points. They just need to win this game, because if they don't, I'm going to have to put up with you.
No, Skip. It's only 2 weeks. We got 14 to go. Look, I got bigger fish to fry. I got something transpiring tonight, and I got something transpiring on Sunday that we need to take care of because I want to come in here like I did. Monday, I don't know if it can get better.
You got a date?
You know what you're going on tonight.
I don't know what's
going on tonight. Stop playing.
Have a hot date?
No, yeah, I got a hot date.
You mean the basketball game?
Yeah, you know I got a hot.
It'll be over in 2 minutes, and you can hit Beverly Hills.
I don't know if. Well, it could. I mean, if we go up 2-0 and I come in here on Monday, but I don't know how I have a better Monday than what I had last week, Skip.
Yep.
That was a good one.
Every dog has his day, and you had yours, and it's the only one you've ever had. And I told you better enjoy it.
What about hold on? All you do is gloat. I got 42 cases. Yep. The Hall of Famer. Did you really play? Because I'm beginning to wonder whether you played or not.
I do wonder that sometimes. That's what they tell me.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Your day coming, I'm going to get all 42 back. Brian going to get them all back.
All at once. Yeah.
No mercy.
Sunday on Fox, Dak and Zeke lead Skip's Cowboys in their home opener against Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Or you may see 49ers take on the Jets, or Aaron Rodgers hosting the Lions. All the NFL action kicks off at 1 Eastern. Check local listings for the games in your area, or watch it on the Fox Sports app. Deshaun Watson said it was a cool experience being a part of NFL history in Week 1 this season. Deshaun was one of 10 black quarterbacks to start the season opener, which is a lead record. That included the previous 2 MVP winners, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, who were both favorites to win the award again. Now, we are joined now by Fox Sports NFL analyst Michael Vick. Now, Michael, you were the first black quarterback to be selected #1 overall. It's now happened 5 other times. So how would you rate the progress of black quarterbacks in the NFL?
I think it's been extraordinary over the last 20 years. I think back to 1999, that draft when Akili Smith and Donovan McNabb and Dante Culpepper, and then in the 3rd round, Sean King was drafted. That draft did so much for me as a player, as an individual, as a black man, because there was a lot of stereotypes beforehand, and I got stereotyped from another black man who played in the National Football League, who seen me my first time in high school throwing the football when I was just out on the field trying to get better. And he looked at me and he instantly said that I would be a DB. And, it hurt me deeply inside, but it also motivated me. But that draft that gave me a sense of hope and pushed me to work harder. And I felt like the game was trending, the quarterback position was trending in a different direction. And it was because of that draft when I seen multiple black quarterbacks get drafted. And now here we go, 20 years later, Week 1, 10 quarterbacks starting for NFL franchises. 7 out of those 10 guys are Pro Bowlers and multiple MVPs amongst them. And, we continue to make progress. But I do have to say this. I have to give a lot of credit to the front offices, the general managers and the coaches who are believing in black quarterbacks and believing that they can get the job done. Those coaches are taking advantage of the talents that we possess and making this generation better than the generation before us. We was guys who was, products of our system, myself and Donovan and Steve McNair. But it was cool. It was all good. We had to pave the way. And now, you have coaches who understand, how to use guys' talents and, made us relevant. So, we're trending throughout the National Football League and we'll continue to do so. Most importantly, the guys who are playing the game now who are doing it better than us, and I continue to say that, understands their place now and how much they'll affect the next generation of black quarterbacks to come.
Before you go, Michael, I'd never heard that story about a black man told you you couldn't play quarterback. Can you give us a little more detail? I don't know if you're able to say who it was or at least what his position was.
When I tell this story, and it rarely comes out, but I was just thinking about it this morning and just the impact it had on me because I went through so much mentally in terms of, thinking about changing my position, not wanting to waste my scholarship or waste my time, rather. And then to hear that from a good friend of mine, and I'll say it was Antonio Banks. He played at Virginia Tech. He played for the Minnesota Vikings. And we have a good relationship to this day. But Antonio motivated me more than he would ever know. And, I took into consideration that, once I seen that, Andy Reid took Donovan and Minnesota took Dante Culpepper, it wasn't about what he said. It was about, how can I go out and produce and show that I'm worthy of being put in that position. And 3 years later, I'm drafted #1. So that's changed within itself. And, shout out to the Atlanta Falcons who gave me that opportunity, who believed in me as a young black man, as a 20-year-old black man, to be the face of their franchise.
Mike, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the blacks are beginning giving more opportunities. And not just in football, it just shows to show you, Skip, and you and I talk about this all the time on our show, is that when given the opportunities, blacks can succeed just as well as white can. It's all about being given the opportunity. Now, I believe there have been other black quarterbacks that could have succeeded. They were quarterbacks in college, but they were forced to go to Canada if they wanted to continue to play, or if they wanted to play in the NFL. As the guy told you, you should switch positions, either become a cornerback, become a wide receiver, or play the running back position. Warren Moon is a pure drop back passer. He was not, yes, he was mobile. Yeah, he was athletic, but he was a drop back passer. Now, if you want to go to Canada. So now we're seeing these opportunities that guys like, hold on, wait a minute. These guys have been quarterbacks their whole life. They've never played wide receiver. They've never been a defensive back.
Right.
They've been a quarterback. Let's give them an opportunity. Lamar Jackson's mom said, my son is a quarterback. He is not switching positions. So for me, just for as you mentioned, Mike, the front office, to give these guys an opportunity to succeed at that position. You've been a quarterback? Okay, son, go play. And not only are we going to let you play, we're going to build a system that's conducive to what you can do really well. Because a lot of times, coaches were hell-bent set in their ways. Well, this is the offense that I run. Well, he can't run my offense. John Harbaugh says, you know what? I'm going to take this guy, along with Ozzie Newsome. We're going to take that guy. We're going to find a guy that can build an offense around him. Instead of putting a square peg in a round hole, we're going to get around a circle for a circle. And that's what they've done. So kudos to all these front offices, to be at the Kyler Murrays, the Deshaun Watsons, and Skip. They're the best players. Patrick Mahomes is the best player in football, the best quarterback. Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray's coming.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're not only starting, they're dominating.
They make it seem like these guys are some fringe players. Yeah. No, they just happen to be the best players at that position in football right now, and it's a lot of them.
So allow me to publicly say I'm proud of this league and the progress it's made racially at that position, which is obviously the premier position in sports.
Yep.
And let me say to Michael Vick, I'm proud of him because he was a trailblazer, because he was the first overall pick. And that opened another huge door for those who came pretty soon. Jamarcus Russell, who obviously didn't work out, but he was the next one. And Cam worked out, and Jameis, I think, is working out, and Kyler is definitely working out. So Michael opened a big door, and and I appreciate that because there's a lot of pressure that goes with that.
Absolutely.
That's a tough one.
Yep.
Let me also say that weirdly, I fell into the forefront of all this when I came out of college and I wound up out here in Los Angeles at the LA Times. I'm going to remind everybody it was starting then because I started covering the LA Rams in the mid-1970s, and guess what? Guess what? They had a black quarterback named James Harrison. He was the starting quarterback. Shaq. He's your guy.
Shaq.
And he was doing it, and he was under extreme heat here in L.A., but he stood up to it. He was really good. He was as pure a thrower of the football as you will ever see at about 6'4". He was pure drop back. He had no cam in him at all.
Right.
Okay, and I'm also covering some USC games, and Vince Evans is the starting quarterback for the Trojans and was the MVP of the Rose Bowl in like 77 and got drafted by the Bears and became their starting quarterback. So that was pretty good.
Right.
And then I went up to Washington, covered a Washington State game, and there was a quarterback for Washington named Warren Moon, who should have been a high pick. You could just see it. He could operate, man. And they forced him to go to Canada. And then I've told you the story. I also got sent to Grambling, Louisiana to spend a week with this young man named Doug Williams, who should have been the first overall pick. He was prototype, classic. What's Doug, like 6'5" or 6'?
6'4", probably about 230.
230, and could just wing it. And he went 17th overall, which is, at least that's a start, right? And I told you I had one prominent GM tell me he does not have the mental capabilities to handle our league. Yeah, well, all he did was win a Super Bowl, become the first black quarterback. Okay, so the doors started opening through the 80s because we had Randall Cunningham, and then it led to Steve McNair, and then it led to that draft, as Michael pointed out. You want to talk about breakthroughs, because Donovan goes second overall, and Akili Smith went third overall, and Culpepper went 11th overall, and here we went. And here came Michael Vick.
And the thing is, Skip, here's the thing, Mike, and you can, and for African Americans, we understand this. If we get an opportunity to do something, Skip, you got to succeed. Because if you don't, you say, see, I told you they couldn't do it. That's what Jackie Robinson had to endure. Skip, he had to take it, but he had to be a good ball player. Or else they're going to say, see, that's why we never gave you an opportunity.
I agree.
And so now, it's just like when the integrated football, they was like, and they're like, hold on, wait a minute. You mean to tell me we letting go this untapped talent, Skip, in college, where the blacks had to go to, HBCUs. And then they realized, like, hold on. You mean to tell me they got guys down there that can do that, that can run that fast? Hold on, we got Bob Hayes down here. He won the gold medal with 64. And we not going, let's get that. Let's go get the Mel Blunts. Let's go get the Art Shells. Let's go get the Willie Laniers. Let's go get these guys. And so when you black and you're the first at something, you better be damn good. If you go to Harvard, you're the first black, you better get all A's. If you're the first to do something, Skip, you better not get no C's, because they're going to say, hey, see, I told you, he couldn't do it. So not only must you be good, you got to be, there are certain things that you just have to do. And Mike, you're there, like, for these guys that's coming, because Skip, they don't remember Shaq. They don't remember Warren Moon. They might see videos. They remember that guy. They remember the Michael Vick experience. They remember playing Madden 2K and those kind of things and seeing him. So he's what, like, this young generation in basketball, Kobe is their guy. For these young black quarterbacks right now, Michael Vick is their guy.
That's what's up, and I really appreciate
Michael,
that.
Tell us, how much pressure did you feel to live up to the first overall pick as a breakthrough black quarterback?
I was about to touch on that. The pressure that I felt was really mounted. Once the pressure was really mounted once I, got drafted #1. And the only thing I was thinking about, it wasn't about being a black quarterback. It was about just not being a bust. Putting on display what I did at Virginia Tech and doing it at an even higher level. At that time, I couldn't see, the circumstances that I was in. I didn't understand the value and the power that I had. And, the young kids who was watching me, that wasn't a big focus. I was just like, I got to do my job. And at the end of the day, as all players, Shannon, like, we want to get to that second contract. So my motivation came in a different form, but I also wanted to have, you know, longevity and success. And once I got into year 9, 10, and I seen Cam and I seen Russell coming and Colin Kaepernick, I was like, okay, so we're doing it for a different purpose. And, you know, the offenses started to look different and the game was starting to look different. So I looked at it as, okay, I did my job. I did the best that I could. And I wish I was, you know, at the stage that these guys are in now, years 1 and 2, with these offenses that just spread out and dynamic, but that wasn't the case. I had to continue to, you know, be great in the passing game, be great as a runner. Even to year 13, I felt pressure of having to perform, and that's just what it is. You know, that's for any position in the NFL and in all the sports.
No mercy. Despite Jackson State officials denying that a deal is being worked on, multiple reports are being said that Deion Sanders is in talks to become their next head coach. Deion has been an offensive coordinator at his son's high school in Texas, but has no coaching experience yet at the pro or at the college level. So, Shannon, if this happens, would it be a good move?
It'd be a great move. I love the move. But, Skip, he's had several conversations with colleges behind the scenes about becoming a head coach. And he wants to be a head coach, not a position coach, not a coordinator. He wants to be a head coach. We talk every week. There's not a week that doesn't go by in which we don't speak. And Skip, coaching it is in his blood. That's what he wants to do. He wants to coach. He wants to teach young men. He wants to be a positive influence in their life. And there's no question in my mind, he knows X's and O's, but he knows it's more important to teach these young kids how to become better people, how to become men. And can you imagine him coming in mama's house, sitting on mama and grandma's couch? That guy comes into your living room and he's talking. So it's going to be, I think it's a great choice. Hopefully it happens. But the question is, Skip, and he knows he has a uphill battle because these big major colleges, Skip, they got millions, hundreds of millions to spend on recruiting. And HBCUs do not have that kind of budget. But to have Deion Sanders, ain't no arguing, the greatest corner to ever play. He's one of the top 5 defensive players to ever play the game. To have that man come sit on your mom or your grandmom's couch or your family member's couch and says, your son should come to Jackson State. I can help your son not only become a better football player, but I can help him become a better person. I can help him become a better man. I can teach him things in life that will always remain with him, regardless if he goes to the next level or not. Obviously, Skip, if you play at any level, you play Pee-wee, you want to go to JV. You play JV, you have aspirations to play in high school. Most high school football players have aspirations to play in college. Skip, you can't tell me a college football player don't think he's going to go into pro. Everybody thinks they're going to play pro ball. Some guys like, you know, I ain't going to do it. I'm going to do my own thing. But for me, I love it. I love this because I know this is his passion. This is what Deion Sanders wants to do, is coach football and help young men.
It is rare that I get that excited about a story, but when I heard this one, and we're still not sure if it's actually happening or not, school denies,
right?
I got excited.
Yep.
Jackson State is in the middle of Jackson, Mississippi, the deepest heart of the South, right?
Yeah.
This is as south as you can get. And for Deion to go to that historically black college and put it back on the map, it's had some it's had Walter Payton. Yep, and there have been a number of others, Jimmy Smith and others, Robert Brazil, I think went there. But the point is, this would be a big splash of a bombshell of a story.
Right.
This would be national news. This would make Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss and Mike Leach at Mississippi State cower a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, we've never had a guy as credentialed as him go back to a HBCU. I don't know if we've ever had a guy as credentialed as him coach at the college level, Skip. You're talking about Deion Sanders. He's one of the 100 greatest players to ever play in the NFL. He's the greatest cornerback to ever play in the NFL. One of the biggest personalities to ever play.
Absolutely.
And like I said, Skip, talking to him, and I know him on a different level. Everybody, you know, coaching I'm like, dude, I don't get it. Because that's something I never want to do. I say, Tom, I don't get it. How do you have the patience?
I am surprised he would want to do this.
Yes.
And for our younger viewers, I've made this case before. To me, he was the greatest athlete ever.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
This is, I'm talking about the biggest picture. If you want to go old school, like back to Jim Thorpe, or whatever you want to throw in there. This man, you want to talk about rare?
They don't realize how special he was.
He was, to me, by far the greatest cornerback ever. I'll never forget what Barry Switzer told me after his first Cowboy practice, and he coached a lot of fine athletes at the University of Oklahoma. He said, that man, Deion Sanders, it's like he's not governed by the same gravity the rest of us are. Like he's moving in different ways. You know how you go to the moon and you float? He's like the reverse.
That's how he was.
He's moving, he's leaping, his speed. Remember the classic story is he went to the combine.
He did.
In his sweat.
And he said, I wasn't going to run. And it's like, because he showed up with his sweatsuit on, Skip. He no stretching or nothing. He's like, I wasn't going to run.
He's like, really? You want me to run right now? Right. Yeah, right now. Okay. And he takes off his sweatsuit, doesn't stretch, doesn't warm up, and he goes 4.2.
He ran 4.29 with no stretching.
What?
And he's like, I'm out of here. Skip, well, back then, Florida State used to be in the Metro Conference. So he run the 100 meters in the Metro, and he ran on the relay team, and then he goes to baseball and hit a home run.
Well, he was just the starting center fielder for the New York Yankees and the Atlanta Braves and Cincinnati. Listen, this is at the highest level
He's
of
playing
professional
football and baseball at the same time.
And I remind everybody, he made All-State in basketball in Fort Myers, Florida, and Florida is obviously...
Florida got everything.
Got everything.
Football, basketball, track, they do it all.
This is a rare human being, and most great players, they just don't want to take the time and the sacrifice to coach.
No.
It's hard.
And they don't got patience. Because the thing is, because he's so... Now, he worked now. He studied, he worked, but he's so gifted. He's never going to meet anybody as gifted as he is. So how do you have the patience? Normally, coaches, Skip, normally the great coaches, they didn't have the immense athletic ability or of a Larry Bird or a Magic Johnson. That's why Phil Jackson can become a great head coach. Rick Carlisle can become a great head coach. Is that when you are great, and Magic said that's what he had. He's like, dude, why you didn't make that? Because he's not Magic Johnson. That's why he couldn't make that play. Because he's not Larry Bird. That's why they couldn't make that play. Now, give Bird credit. He turned out, he won Coach of the Year. Lenny Wilkins was a Hall of Fame player and a Hall of Fame coach. But it's rare to see a guy that had immense talent was an all-time great player and then turn that around and parlay that into being a great head coach. But that's all he talks about. He's been coaching his son as an offensive coordinator, I think at Trinity Christian down in Texas. And he's like, I want to be a coach. I want to be a head coach. Because a lot of times, Skip, you get guys like that, we'll make you a position coach. We'll let you coach, but mainly you're a position coach, but they want to send you to mama and them house. Because when you show up, it's different than have, say, Nick Saban. They love Nick Saban, but Deion Sanders come to them.
So help me out here. What if he were able to recruit the top 4 or 5 kids in the state of Mississippi away from Ole Miss or Mississippi State or Alabama or LSU?
Yes.
What if he got those kids? Whew.
Yes. And I know he's going to put together an unbelievable staff.
He will.
He'll put together an unbelievable staff. And so I hope he get it. I hope he gets the job.
Wouldn't you love to see the NFL scouts flocking to Jackson State as opposed to Ole Miss or Mississippi State?
Tom, I got 100 bands if you go to Savannah State.
Do you really?
Yeah, I got to put
I get money. Legal, right?
Yeah, it's legal. Oh. Why is it not legal? How the hell you think the...
oh, I thought you were offering for recruiting.
No, for him. Oh, okay. I ain't got no players. No, him.
Just for him?
Yeah, him.
100 bands? I think that's not enough to even have him look sideways, right?
I mean, hold on. You make it seem like Jackson State got Alabama pockets.
Well, Jackson State, Savannah State?
Whoa, Skip.
Walter Payton or Shannon Sharpe? Which one do you want? Walter Payton or Shannon Sharpe? Help me out.
Skip, I'm just saying, I might just, scrape together a few more nickels or something, get it.
Has Savannah State had any other prominent alumni?
I don't know.
Next.
Well, it's not if, but when Deion Sanders becomes a head coach, wherever that may be, he is going to be a great leader.
No mercy.
Start your Saturday strong at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Big Noon Kickoff Show, followed by the Big Noon Game of the Week as Houston takes on Baylor on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Now, Nuggets head coach Michael Malone was an assistant with LeBron back in Cleveland, and earlier this year he was asked to compare LeBron to Michael Jordan when The Last Dance came out. Now, Malone said Michael is obviously the greatest of all time, and also that LeBron, quote, did not have the same mindset or killer mentality that Michael Jordan is supposed to have had. Ooh. So, Shannon, how much will this quote motivate LeBron?
Well, I think people, anytime someone takes a dig at you or don't think you as good as you say you are, as good as you think you are, I think you remember it. I don't think it's at the front of LeBron's mind. I think LeBron said he knows how much Coach Mo has put into the schemes and the productivity that he's gotten out of his out of the Nuggets. And like I said, when you're there with someone, you have the respect. But obviously, when someone coaches you, Skip, or they're on the staff with you, and they think someone else is better than you, yeah, I'm like, damn, dude, you was here. You saw the work I put in this thing, and you know what I'm capable of. But you know, that's his opinion. I mean, it's hard to get upset with someone's about their opinion, Skip. But LeBron's like, you know, we gonna see. We gonna toss this thing up at about
getting close.
About 8, 9 hours. We gonna toss this thing up. We'll see.
So to me, this isn't obviously on par with somebody insulting LeBron's mom or his wife, but in a basketball context. I don't think you could sting LeBron any deeper than in comparing him to Jordan to say LeBron doesn't have the killer mentality that he said that he heard, because Mike Malone didn't obviously coach Michael Jordan, but that Michael was supposed to have had. Well, he did, because I was there and I saw it. That is the essence of my issue with LeBron James. He doesn't have Michael's killer that assassin mentality, the killer will that Jordan had. That's what separates those two. In the very end, obviously LeBron's very talented. He puts up great numbers. He's playing longer than Michael played. He takes better care of himself than Michael thought about taking care of himself, especially in those last couple of years in Washington, in the 3 that he took off. But in the end, that's what separates. LeBron doesn't have that killer intangible.
Skip, you like movies. You big in the movies. You like John Wick, right? You John Wick, one of your favorite, right?
1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Yep.
You like Jack Reacher also? Mm-hmm. They do the same thing. At the end of the day, they get the guy, right? One guy just killing up everybody. Sometimes Jack Reacher, he leave him so they can tell, hey, I was here. Go let your boss know I was here. Mm-hmm. That's it. At the end of the day, Skip Bayless, we get the job done.
Those
we ain't got
movies. This is real life.
In real life, my guy, look at who my guy is, year 17.
Yeah.
Who did that in year 17? Tell me the guy that's doing what he's doing in year 17. I'm waiting. Considering Michael only played 15. Are we really counting 14 and 15? You really want to count those at Washington? If you really want to count those, you're welcome to. Nobody wants to count those. But had he won a title, you'd have said Michael Jordan won a title. He got 7, and he won it in year 14 and 15. But because he was, stir fry, nobody wants to talk about Washington. But I will.
He was a ceremonial player.
We don't do ceremonies. We don't do ceremonies. We do the real deal. My guy ain't no ceremonial. You beat my guy up last year. He had that little groin. Come on, LeBron. The little groin. I mean, a little groin shouldn't be able to keep old big LeBron down. He came back bigger, stronger, faster than he ever been.
He went 28 and 27 his first go-round with the Lakers. Is that good?
What your guy go? What your guy go in year 14, 15? Average a little 20 points. 20 little points. 20 little bit.
Not in shape.
Huh?
Pretty good for now.
Whose fault is that? Well, you know, egg is a shape.
3 years.
Apple are shapes.
Yeah.
He might have been one of those shapes. Look at my guy. Chiseled. 6'9", so, 245.
So okay, everybody has a lot of respect for old Mike Malone.
Yeah.
He just pulled off the greatest upset in playoff history.
No, we did that. We did that in 2016. Skip Bayless.
There's no Kevin Durant. That didn't count. Come on.
But they didn't have Kevin Durant either.
So let's think about this. Mike Malone was an assistant on a staff in Cleveland from 05 to 10. So he witnessed firsthand, sitting right there at courtside, LeBron getting swept by the Spurs in the finals.
At 22.
He witnessed LeBron's meltdown against Orlando in the playoffs after he made the greatest shot heard around the world.
Skip, the man averaged 39, and you talking about he had a meltdown.
They had a meltdown.
Oh, they had a meltdown, huh?
Then against Boston, the last go-round, the first time in Cleveland, when he played LeBron, I thought the greatest game of his career in Game 3 at Boston on a Friday night. I just sat back in awe of it. And then what happened in Game 4, 5, and 6? His owner eventually accused him of quitting in those games.
Well, Steve Ballmer need to accuse Kawhi and Paul George of quitting. Can you imagine? Just imagine, let's just say for the sake of argument, on those teams in 2010, when you said he quit, he'd have had someone the equivalent of Paul George. Or he'd have had someone the equivalent of Sixth Man of the Year coming off the bench. Kawhi Leonard was up 3-1 with Paul George.
This isn't about Kawhi Leonard. This is about LeBron James up against a Mike Malone who just back on April 21st said he doesn't have the killer mentality that Jordan did.
So what was... Hold on, time out, Skip. Okay.
That's the ultimate shot.
What years... So he got LeBron as an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old?
Well, 05, yeah. Well,
so the man 19. The man a teenager. So guess what that killer... Guess what your teenager was doing? He was asking his mom to send him stamps.
I thought he was the GOAT.
No, your guy was 19, was asking mom to send him a roll of stamps. My guy was buying mom a house. My guy was paying utilities. Your guy was living at the expense of North Carolina. So are you really going to compare a 19-year-old grown man paying bills as opposed to a guy that's asking his mom to send him stamps?
There is a reason that one guy is 3-6 in the finals, and the other guy went 6-0 with 6 MVPs in the finals. There's a reason it's called killer will, killer mentality.
Well, if we had Phil, can we get Phil Jackson? Can give us Phil Jackson? Give us Phil Jackson for 6 years. Give us Greg Popovich for 6 years. Give us Red Auerbach for 6 years, and let's see what our record would have been.
I thought you liked Frankie V.
I like Frank, but hold on, Skip. The difference between like and being all-time historically great coaches.
Well, LeBron coaches that team.
Oh, not LeBron coaches the team.
Red Auerbach.
Don't do that, Skip.
Red Auerbach.
All I know is that we might not get as many times. We're going to get one this year. Skip, if we get 4 rings.
You should have it.
With 3 different teams and 4 MVPs, and we got all the records, all the playoff records we got. All the scoring records we got.
Vegas is saying it's over.
I don't care what Vegas say. I don't listen to Vegas.
Prohibitive.
I stopped going to Vegas.
4-9.
Vegas got a lot of my money because I thought I was smarter than Vegas.
So LeBron James should sit back in the locker room before tonight's game, and he should say, that guy who's coaching that other team, he took the ultimate shot at me. I'm going to show him. Watch this.
We are.
Watch me kill you.
We got 7 games to prove that we are not what he said we were. So we're not going to get into all this and go back and forth. We got the utmost respect for Coach Mo.
Do you?
But he got to deal with us.
That's what you're saying publicly.
We got to deal with us.
You should have something. Because if you're that dude, you should have that killer.
Hey, don't come. And at the game, when the series was, don't come shaking my head. Hey, you're a heck of a ball player. No, I don't want to hit none of that. Yeah. You already took your shot.
You took
so
your
I
shot.
know where you stand with me.
I agree.
So don't come up here and try to pound me up. Kick rocks out my face, out my face.
Correct. Thank you. And that will happen.
Yeah. We got something for you, though.
And also remember that the NBA is announcing their MVP today at 2 Eastern. There's a lot of reports that it might be Giannis again, so that can add some extra motivation for LeBron tonight. But regardless, it's going to be a fun game 1.
No mercy.
Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott will try to get the Cowboys their first win of the season as they host the Falcons on Sunday on Fox. So, Shannon, what will Dak and Zeke's stat lines be against Atlanta?
I'm going to say Dak is 28-38, between 300, 320, 3 touchdowns. Zeke will be 25 carries for 115, 4 catches for 32.
Really?
Yep.
I say both got to be a little above that, or I'm going to lose to the Atlanta Falcons. I got Cowboys 38-35 because I got Zeke carrying it 30 times for 150 yards.
Wow.
I got Dak in your ballpark, 38 attempts with 30 completions for 330 yards.
Okay.
I got CeeDee Lamb breaking out with 8 catches for another $150, Julio-esque. And I got how about them Cowboys, 38-35. And if that happens, I will be a very relieved Cowboy on Monday here.
You better be right.
Yep.
You remember what happened last Monday when I came here? You don't want that. You don't want a repeat performance of that, do you?
Of what? I don't even remember.
You do remember.
I don't remember what happened.
Goat James finished this thing off.
Yep.
Brady lost.
Oh.
Cowboys lost. And whatchamacallit took that L again.
Who?
Kawhi.
Oh, yeah. All I know is that I don't really care about any of that. It's ancient history to me. And Tom Brady actually played very well, and he will survive, and you will have to.
You better go 2-0 in your football picks. It's gonna be you're gonna be in a heap of trouble if you don't go 2-0 in those football picks.
The only game I care about is Rams at Eagles because Rams are going to be 2-0.
Oh, so you already wishing ill on the Eagles, huh?
Wishing ill.
Yeah.
Well, they're ill already.
Okay, your day coming. Yep. Don't let Matty Ice get hot. Don't let Matty Ice get hot.
He will get hot. He might throw for 450 again.
He might throw 5 on y'all. Y'all capable of letting him throw for 5.
Here we go.
Okay, you see. So what you
Well,
gonna
that's
do?
all we have for you guys today.
Give me the points.
Thank you
Give me
for
7
hanging
points.
out with us. We'll be back
Nope.
Monday
I'll
at
take the Cowboys for
9:30
7.
Eastern.
Pick the topic if you watching, skipping Shannon, skip the hopping, put these